Hello, everybody. Thank you for your support of Indie Agency News. Let's meet an indie agency, and we're heading down to the Bay Area, the Yay area. Hello, Eric and Allison from Apollo Partners. Welcome on board.
Thank you for having us. It's good to be here.
Happy to be here.
So Bay Area, a rich history of independent agencies. You got your Duncan Shannons. You got your, Camping King used to be. You got your Jamie Barrett, been down there for a minute. Gosh, I can go through this whole thing. It's a funky little community down there, and I can imagine that it's also a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm certainly a product of the indie agency epicenter down here in San Francisco, and started my career at Swirl. If you know.
Oh,
Swirl.
geez. Okay. Yeah.
Long time, many moons ago. But I think that like that principle that I came into the world from has definitely held true throughout my career, and is, a big part of how we're starting Apollo.
Right.
Yeah, there's still a lot of great ones. Work closely with Jamie and Matt Hoffer at Barrett Hoffer now.
Oh, so, yeah.
So yeah, there's a bunch of good ones.
I know. I just have to remember it's Barrett Hoffer and it's not Barrett SF. I have to keep reminding.
So we're headquartered here, but Allison's actually in the New York City area.
Okay.
We also have a growing office in Austin, Texas. So we're kind of a modern distributed force.
Sure. Yeah. Like everybody.
Yep. Yeah.
Like everybody. Oh, go ahead, Allison.
I would say, unlike Eric, though, I came up through the big holding companies in New York City. So
okay.
Different experience. And it's been such a dream to be at an indie agency now.
That's great. Yeah. And I spent some time in the holding company agency world at the Martin Agency. The most independent feeling holding company agency, one of them out there. Yeah. I can tell you, it was a great experience. But yeah, Indie's the thing. Indie's the thing. Absolutely. When was the agency started?
We were started just before COVID, so we're about 3.5 years old. Yeah, great timing. At first, we were like, "Oh no, is this going to be a disaster?" But I think, as we all know now, it ended up being kind of an advantage, and we're kind of built for this era, which allows us to operate much more fluidly with all the change going on.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. Now let's talk about this. Now, every agency has a list of stuff that they're good at. And I want to start with this question first. What would you say that your agency is best known for?
We are a full service media agency through and through. So I think that one thing that we're best known for is the breadth and speed at which we approach media. But we are all things paid media, and from the very beginning of front end communication strategy all the way through reporting, analytics, and everything that's in between that. So a true understanding of the landscape of paid media and being able to do it with excellence is what I think our clients would say about us.
Right.
And that going from brand to performance to traditional to digital to sports partnerships to product development. So there's not a lot of the work that we've done in our first 3.5 years, I think, is testament to like how broad we can go, and like the experience has afforded us over our careers to be able to offer that. So we've run media for some biggest and best brands, but also really small brands along the way, and just have created a really accurate picture of everything that's out there. And so we think that's a unique trait that there's not really many media consultancies and agencies that have that level of experience and are bringing that to the market.
Right. And Allison, I want to ask you this, because media agencies traditionally, well, not traditionally, but in the past have attempted to shoehorn creative into it. So creative departments at media agencies can be hit or miss, and that may be charitable, right? But it sounds like the way that you're approaching it, there are the pieces of creativity that lead to strong results. And so I'm thinking more lowercase c than anything else, because I think some of these media agencies that attempted to build creative practices, capital C, your results may vary.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think, what we really try to focus on is how do we bring creativity through every step of the media lens. That's our expertise, and that's where we really, really shine in the work that we do. So it's about bringing creativity to the strategy of the media plan and the approach. But I would also say we work really well with different creative agencies, and that's a huge other area of our
Right.
expertise, and kind of one of our founding principles as well, is that, we partner really well with big C creative agencies and also performance creative agencies and whatnot as well.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. Again, going back to taking this idea of what you're best known for, one step further, what would you say the agency's top three core strengths are?
Our media first and foremost. So like a true understanding
that part I get. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a focus on results and performance and being able to toe the line between innovation and big ideas, but making sure that they work. Moving really quickly. Sometimes the industry has, based on compensation models or the way that services are and scope of works are built, the industry's been driven to move slow. We want to move really quickly and innovate fast, and have models that reward that. And then I think just being the partner that will help make a client successful is also what we're focused for. So we're constantly pivoting, being flexible, trying to figure out new ways of doing things, and ultimately trying to surprise and delight our clients and help them hit their goals.
Right. Alison, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think what we hear time and time again from our clients is that, we talk the talk, but we really walk the walk. We really deliver on the things that we say we deliver on, and the work really speaks for itself.
And in this complex world, sounding like the beginning of an ad for a B2B company there, media has it seems to morph every day. So let me ask you this before I get into like the meat of other questions related to independence. I'm curious your point of view on the mediums and media that is most undervalued. That's a tricky one, right? Because you could go back to the OGs. And again, I spent 15 years in radio, which explains why I sound like this. But also, I'm curious about what is the most underutilized place in media that brands can take advantage of.
I think it depends on the brand challenge. I would say outdoor, though, is like outdoor is kind of a consistently overlooked tactic or medium. And I think it's because of all the advancements in the media space and a lot of the complex nature of how everything has evolved, that some of it is really valuable, but a lot of it is not worth the squeeze. So outdoor, we continue to be big fans of and think it has a really strong place in any media plan, while coupled with some of the other, more digitally driven or, more wide-reaching tactics that we might also build a media plan around.
Right. Alison, your thoughts?
I would agree with that. I also think audio is another really underutilized media component to a plan. It is really successful when used correctly and
cheap.
Yes.
It's super cheap right now.
And it's also really easy to create authenticity, especially with just like the breadth of podcast hosts out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That breadth. Yeah. There's lots and lots of podcasts out there.
Right.
Your mileage may vary.
I think at that point, like the last point you make though, Doug, is like kind of what we bring to the table, because it's not everything, like not all audio is
sure. No. And I get that. And I realize that question I asked was overly broad, but there are some, there are conversations to be had as it relates to media, because many, many years ago, we were looking at like the New York Times and being like, oh, skyscraper, look at that. Oh my God, it's Flash. It's things like that. Whereas technology continues to progress, yet we still manage to see the sea of sameness in a lot of places.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that with your clients and with brands?
When building media plans, we're always trying to put ourselves in the consumer's shoes. And what as consumers would we care about this communication? We would react with it. Would we engage with it? And I think the answer for a lot of media on the on the shelf right now is usually no. And so there's a way to build like a holistic, well-balanced plan that's why when we say we're focused on results, it makes it a lot more accountable, and that we're not just putting the save as media plan that worked for the last one out there. It's like trying to put ourselves in the target audience's shoes and build a plan that we would engage with if we were them.
Right. No all-in strategy. No all-in on Alta Vista. I got it. There you go. There's an old school one for you. Let's go back to the indie thing. Sorry, I took a little bit of a detour there. We took a little detour off of the 5. Why is being independent important to you and your team? Alison, I want to start with you.
Oh, wow. I think it is important to me, and I think important to the team, just because of the value that it brings to us. Again, I'd mentioned at the beginning, I kind of like grew up, so to speak. A lot of my experience is from those larger holding companies. And I think what Eric has done is pull together really, really good talent. And he wants to foster that talent and do the best work that we can do for our clients, but also embrace who we are as people as well. And so I think being in an indie environment, there's greater ability to kind of celebrate who you are as a person in addition to the work that you produce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, I mean, being indie is so important that we're bound by nothing. And so like, I think that applies to the work that we're doing for our clients and holding ourselves to account and making sure that we're putting the best work out there, and we're being really quick, being really fast and quick, and that we're delivering on the service side of it. I think it also applies to our people, and being able to call our own shots and deliver on all the things that people coming up through the industry, whether early or like, in a later stage or more mature stage in their career, care about, like compensation, advancement, learning opportunities, growth opportunities, being able to work on different accounts. Like we're in charge of doing that, instead of answering to a much larger entity where we might be able to, have the desire to do it, but can't for whatever reason.
Right. You skipped ahead to one of my questions, which is fine, which is why talent should put the agency on their list. But that's good. That you're a pro, dude. You just worked it right in.
Yeah.
No mess. See, no waste.
No waste. Exactly. No waste. We do talk about that. Waste is not just an ad spend waste. It's also wasted time and like opportunity, resources, all the things.
I'm not even going to ask that question. I mean, why should talent put your agency? What's another reason that talent should put the agency on your list?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're. It might be obvious to us, but like it's worth articulating that we're on the path to building something great.
Yeah.
So we want people who are ambitious and entrepreneurial and driven to do great work. And so that's like the work side of things. I think, on the more people focused side, we really care about people. That's part like a founding principle of Apollo Partners for me personally, and like the people that have joined, like Alison, it's like it's something that we care about. So it shows up in the way of like great benefits and really generous compensation and flexibility and all the things that all of us really care about on the people side. So
yeah. Alison, I'm going to kick it over to you now.
Yeah, I would say building on that, we really enable the people within our team and organization to have like a vested interest in where Apollo is going to be. We had an offsite at the beginning of June, and we had incredible discussions with the team on what do we like that we're doing right now, and where do we want to see ourselves in 3 years, and actively asking the team to participate in what that plan looks like to get us there.
Yeah. And I think, Doug, we talked about it at the very beginning of this meeting, but like, it's not just, it's like the diversity of experience where I happen to start at a small independent shop, which I am partial to. And I think that allowed me to learn a lot really quickly. And so we believe in that for our teams, but we've also all spent time at the biggest places and run the biggest media accounts, which is also super valuable. And I think both of those are what allow us to kind of like have both sides of the conversation.
I didn't run the media accounts at Martin. Good God. Those people are, and Media Hub. I was just like, I don't even know how you do this, but okay. Let's talk about the main reason a brand should work with your agency. Again, you've covered a lot of ground on this, and I think that certainly you've discussed pieces of this, but what would you say would be the main reason?
The main reason I think is the breadth and speed of our experience, which is kind of like a repetitive thought, but it means so many different things where we're going to come to them with really creative, innovative ways to put their media investment to work. It's going to make sure that it's accountable and results focused. And that, you know, the service that you get from us, like we hear from our clients a lot, like, unfortunately, like a lot of agencies out there are all saying the same thing. What really matters is how we come through in our service. And when they're actually working with us, like how well we're delivering on what we said we would. And so we think we really deliver on that. Like we're much more focused on the service side of our service industry. And it all comes through in like how we deliver.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think on the results piece, just to build off what Eric said, we are really uniquely positioned, in my opinion, to be able to do brand and performance really well. There are lots of agencies that really focus in one of those places, and we can do both of them because both of them should have accountable and actionable results for the campaigns. And you should be able to see and pinpoint how they're able to influence each other throughout the purchase path of the client as well.
Yeah, we've always just, you know, to the point of like being consumer focused and like putting ourselves in the target shoes, like target audiences don't be like, that's a brand ad versus performance ad. Like they all naturally work together. And so we've never really understood like why the industry like separated them and acted like they're such different things. Like they obviously, you know, certain mediums are better for other educational needs, but like they work hand in hand. And like, you know, the way that we're managing those budgets should also work hand in hand.
Yeah, you touched a nerve there, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Touched a little bit of a nerve there. We finish up with a thought exercise, a little thought experiment. Whether it's an existing client or not, which CMO or marketer would you like to say hello to and why?
We would love to say hello to Dave Raggio, who is leads acquisition marketing for Intuit on the SBSEG side, which is focused on QuickBooks. Dave is someone who's like been a multiple time client, but when we started Apollo, he understood our strengths and like he believed in us early on and gave us small assignments, and we had a principle of over delivering on anything that we're tasked with. And he continued to invest in us and has given us great opportunities. So I think there's a number of people that took on that same role as Dave and believing in Apollo early, but he was one of the most notable and someone we'd like to say hi to, but also say thank you to.
Yeah. Alison.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Eric on Dave. He's been really instrumental and has felt like a true partner on both sides of the coin. So, you know, thank you to him.
Oh, you're going to leave it there. You're not going to, are you balking? Are you not going to add another one?
I mean, I could also shout out our Nature's Bakery clients.
Oh, that's a good one.
Pilar and Vilma.
Yeah.
So they've been amazing partners. They're one of our first CPG clients, which has been a really exciting space to work on. Again, we have a lot of tech and fintech and stuff. So it's been great to have a CPG client in partnership.
And who was that again? What was their name?
Nature's Bakery.
And who is the marketer?
Vilma and Pilar.
Okay.
Yeah. 100%. Double click on that. Absolutely. Like they're the partners that I think any agency like us dreams of, where, you know, they're part of Mars and
right.
we were acquired by Kind, and then Kind was acquired by Mars, but have just been like the clients that we all hope for, where they're tough and like hold us accountable, but they're also just like great people. And we've really enjoyed working with them and like hope to have a very long working relationship with them because it's just been a joy.
I like that because this industry is supposed to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Remember that? Remember?
Yeah. We have fun with it. It is. It's not every day's awesome, but like we do have a lot of fun with it and we enjoy the work we do. And like we ultimately care about the work we're doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep. No, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. Eric and Alison, it's Apollo Partners out of the Bay Area and beyond. Yes. Thanks so much for joining us and best wishes for continued success.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.